Hi, everybody. Welcome to One Happy Thing. I am so delighted to be here again with my friends Carrie Schaefer and Jennifer Mormon. I am Maddie Dawson, and I have something kind of exciting to talk to you about. And it's the one manifesting tip that you're probably not utilizing in your whole arsenal. And that is going to surprise you because it's not gratitude, it's not meditating, it's not even prayer, it's giving up.
Hmm.
I know. It sounds kind of weird,
Well,
but
we're
believe
all strong-willed in this group, I think. We're
yeah,
strong-willed
we're
people.
strong-willed people. Two of us at least are Tauruses.
Oh,
Jennifer,
wow. I'm
I
a
don't know what
Cancer.
you're a Cancer. All right.
Oh.
A sweet, loving little Cancer. I have some lovely Cancers in my life, and they are just delightful, sensitive people. But we Tauruses, we're not only sensitive, but we are stubborn beyond belief. And I have two Taurus children and a Taurus mother and a Taurus grandchild.
Wow.
So I don't give up. I am persistent. My mother used to say, it's a horrible saying, but she would say, you can just beat a dead horse into nothing. Because I would just drive and drive and strive to get everything exactly right. And then I learned that giving up is really the best way for me. And I can't tell you how many times this has worked for me in my life. So I want to share it with you. It's really a way of letting go. It's gotten me it's got my house. I got my house through letting go about it. I got my husband. I was in a terrible relationship. And then finally, I was able to let that relationship go and think better things are coming. And the next week, I met my husband and we have been together ever since. And it also has worked in my writing career. I've probably said on previous podcasts how it took me so many years to write my first book, and I would not let go of it. The book would not let go of me. I would not let go of the book. We were locked in struggle at all times. And I would finish it, and then I would start writing it again over and over and over again for 17 years. I was doing a lot of other things at the time too, but it was 17 years. And then an agent finally expressed some interest in it. And as soon as the agent got interested in it, you'd think that would have been like a nice settled point for me. But no, I became more and more and more obsessed. I was tracking every day what was going to happen with it. I was talking about it nonstop to my friends. I was agonizing about it and worrying about it and trying to make things happen through my will. One day I was with a friend and she said, is it possible that you want this too much? And I was like, what? How can I want this too much? Of course I want it as much as possible. And she said, I don't know. I don't know. Just maybe if you didn't want it quite as badly, you know? And so I got to thinking about that and I really put on the brakes and I thought, I will be fine either way. This isn't the be all and end all of my life. The book gets picked up or it doesn't get picked up. I'm going to be fine. And in fact, I stopped hanging around the phone. This was in the days before cell phones. So agents couldn't ever reach you unless you happened to be right by the phone. And I stopped hanging out by the phone and I went out with my friends and I did things. And one day I came home and there was a call from her and she had sold a book. And it was really a moment where I had completely let it go. I wasn't even thinking about it when that call came. So it was a complete blindsided thing. Well, a few years later, this friend who was so wise with me, she had a condo she wanted. And oh, the agony. She just went on and on and on. And it had to be this condo. And we talked about it all the time. And I said, let's stop wanting that so much. We went and we sat by a stream and we just talked about other things. And we did ask for the condo to work out. I mean, we did a little ceremony to ask for the condo to work out. And then we let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that commercial in the 90s? I think it was Ron Popeil or Popile, something called, and it was Set It and Forget It. You know,
Oh, yeah.
he sold rotisseries and stuff, and that was the thing, that was the catchphrase, "Set it and forget it." And I think of this as like that, that you just have something, you put it out there what you want, and then you really, really, really have to step away. It's like the law of relinquishment. You can't fake it. You really can't fake it. You can't pretend that you're letting it go. You have to really surrender to whatever is going to happen. And I have a friend who was just diagnosed with, well, a few months ago, was diagnosed with cancer. And she was very scared, as anyone would be. And she did this. She said, every day I'm just going to do a prayer for best possible outcome. I'm not going to try to control it. I'm not going to worry about whether I'm seeing the right doctor. I'm not going to track the labs. I'm not going to be hysterical like I have been up until now. And everything eased in her in a way that made her open to whatever came. She ended up finding exactly the right doctors through these amazing series of coincidences, and finding people that knew what she needed to know right at the time. And since then, she goes around and she gives talks about hope, and she meets with cancer patients, and she's in remission. She's just doing great. But nothing seemed like it was going to go that way. You know, her life was scans and testing and scary notices from doctors all the time. And we would get together and paint rocks together to just keep ourselves distracted, but you could tell that it was just inside her in a way that would be very hard to ignore. I mean, that would be terrible, hard for me to ignore too. So set it and forget it, and surrendering isn't always the easiest thing, but I think it's the way of being happy and achieving peace and achieving what you really want. In one of my books, there's a character named Blix, and she says, "Whatever happens, love that."
Right.
And that kind of came to me from out of nowhere when I was writing the book. I've never gone around saying, "Whatever happens, love that." But through Blix telling me that in my own book, I've kind of realized that not everything has to be fought against or fixed or controlled, that I can let so much go and find myself happier. Do y'all have that feeling at all? Or are you looking at me like I might be a little bit insane? Does this make any sense, the idea of giving up? Of course.
Oh, it totally makes sense. I just think it's hard. That's
hard. It's hard.
That's
It
always
is very
hard.
It's very hard. You know how I do it is as a thought comes up, like I'll set it. I'll say, this is what I want. And then I'll start to worry. Well, what if it doesn't happen? What if this? What if this? What if this? And as each time that comes up, I go, oh, that's taken care of. And then I just move on to the next thing. I just tell myself as though I'm an authority on it. Oh no, that's taken care of. That's the universe is handling that. You already did that. And that works for me, just to keep telling myself that. I don't know if it works on the huge things for me, like, house fires and cancer diagnoses and those kind of things.
It was a huge thing that actually taught me some of that, because I was not good ever at letting go of anything. And I was really, probably, I like to control all the things. It was when my husband was killed, actually, that I sort of got a grasp of that to any extent. It was like I realized, oh, I've worked really hard to create this life that I thought that I should have, and be the person that I thought I should be, and do this for my kids and do that and that. And here I am, and now this happened, and I had no control over that. And now it's all these things I have no control over. So due to the sheer enormity of not having control, I let it go. And I learned a lot from that, actually. And I was much more mellow about, I wouldn't let my kids stay over at friends' houses, like hardly ever before that. And then I'm like, well, you know what? I know now I can't keep them safe. Sure, you can go stay at your friend's place tonight, not in a dangerous way, but just in a real release of control. And I feel, for the most part, I'm much better at it now. But when it comes to things like, wanting a book contract or a specific thing, it's harder. I find that hard to let go. I don't know. What about you, Jennifer?
I like the set it and forget it. I call this bless and release. So that
Mhm.
when I have these things come in, or I'm thinking about maybe something I want, or because if we're looking at, I mean, these are different ideas, like having a condo that we're looking for and then having a diagnosis. Like
Yeah.
these are kind of on opposite ends in a way. But it is about reminding yourself every time, for me, you have that thought of, "Oh, but what if this happens?" That I'm instantly grabbing a hold of it like it is a tiger tail, and I'm grabbing it and I'm pulling it back because there's so many things out of our control. I mean, so many things, and so the more control that I try to exert over my world, the tighter and smaller it gets, and the
Mm,
tighter and smaller I get. And
right.
so, yeah, if it's a big thing, do I have to remind myself, "Hey, this is okay." Like you said, "Hey, this is taken care of." You
Right.
know, everything's working in my favor. Everything's working for my highest good. Does it
Yeah.
look like that in the middle of garbage? No. But
No.
we've had a good laugh about how we meet people that are actually on our trajectory that are meant to propel us higher, and it
Right.
doesn't seem like that when we're in the moment.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I constantly have to tell myself to let go. I mean, I was raised in a controlling environment in that this is the way, there's not another way,
Right.
and so I repeated that pattern for many years, and there are lots of ways, friends, there's not only one or 2 ways, there's lots of ways, and so I had to learn how to not be so clinchy, to let
Yes.
Right.
my hand, like, I'm, like, showing you my hands, just opening my hands. I'm like, "Okay, Jen, put that down." And maybe tomorrow I pick it back up and I'm like, "Jennifer, put that down. Put that down. You don't need that. That's not yours." I think
Yeah.
it's a constant reminder for me that, to surrender, because it's so calming when you realize you don't have to control everything in your life. You can't possibly, because that also stresses you out, right? You can't possibly control the outcomes of all the people in your life.
Right.
And you let it go, you can breathe. And then, like you said, we've talked about being present. You can actually be present in the moment, because when you're trying to control the future or the past, you're not in the present.
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. In my family, there's a lot of mental illness, and that
Mhm.
always felt like, oh, if I could be the better person, if I could be there for everybody in every single way, then I could prevent bad outcomes for them. And
Gosh,
that was really hard to relinquish
yeah,
and
that's
to
heavy.
yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And you always feel slightly like off balance. I felt like I had plates spinning in the air that I had to keep them all spinning. And it
Right.
gets to be a habit where you're just grinding inside all the time and thinking, this is all up to me. Anne
Yeah.
Lamott says she's
But it's
God's
not,
best.
and I think that's where the letting go comes in that
Yes, right.
trusting that everybody is here on their own journey, that
Yes.
everybody has their own road, that everybody is responsible, that it's all gonna be okay. So I think there's the quote, and I can't remember where it comes from. It's like, "Eh, all things shall be well, and all things shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." And I can't remember who said that, but this is one that runs through my mind, and I repeat it to
Yeah.
myself on occasionally. And there is also a practice that I really love. I got this from Dawson Church, who is one of the foremost researchers and just a really brilliant man, with the EFT tapping stuff. But he created something called an eco meditation, ECO, and it involves a little bit of tapping, and it's also meditation. It's a guided meditation, and one of the ones I have of his is, um, orienting yourself to a benevolent universe, I think is what it's
Mhm.
called. And the whole concept is that because of the way that I'm choosing my life, the vibration that I'm putting out, I live in a benevolent universe. And because I live in a benevolent universe, I trust that all things that happen to me and those around me are well, will be well, and I don't have to hold on to everything so tightly to try and control, fix. This is a
I
very
think
huge topic.
It's so true. And I saw a quote today that said, certainty bends reality. And I was really thinking about what that means. It seems like the opposite, but it's what we're talking about. The certainty that all is well bends reality so that the universe meets you and makes that kind of thing happen. It's not up to you to do it. It's up to you to believe and to trust and to give up, give up that idea of controlling everyone.
Right. Well, and I got one more quick before we go. So this this is it. So I did kind of give up. So
Okay, good.
The book that I'm writing now, this is one I was very insistent. I had a plan. I was, my agent was going to read it. I was going to get it to her by a certain time. She was going to read it by a certain time. And we were going to get it to publishers. We were going to get it out on submission. This did not happen due to many forces beyond my control. I did get my part written, but other things were not happening. And I was spinning my wheels. And Maddie can attest to this. I was not doing well, kind of having little meltdowns on the regular. And then I let it go. I was like, whatever. I'm going to write the book. It'll happen in its own time. And then I realized that the book I was trying to write was not the book I wanted to write. And I'm so immensely grateful that it's not out there somewhere, either on sub or with a publisher, because then I would feel trapped in the book that I thought I was writing instead of the one that I am writing, which is the one that I want to write. So sometimes what we think we want isn't really even what we want. So that letting go of the control, trusting that all is well, and just letting it go. I like the idea.
I like the idea too. And I think when I really look at my life, and maybe this is true of you too, every good thing that's happened for me has come out of a bad thing.
Yeah.
And that the good things don't just march along and going, hi, how are you? Shaking my hand. They come from some kind of struggle or some kind of letting go or some kind of loss often that I've had to reconcile and then see myself coming into a new beginning. So we are very curious to hear if any of you out there have thoughts about this. Is letting go something that you think about doing, or are you white knuckling your way as we often are ourselves? Please write to us at onehappythingpodcast@gmail.com. or join us on social media. In the show notes, you'll see all the links to our social media and our newsletters. We all write fascinating newsletters. I write mine approximately once every 2 years, so you may not want to waste your time there. But Jennifer and Carrie write the best ones ever, and I love reading them each time. And we love coming and talking to you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to One Happy Thing. We hope today's episode brought a little extra joy your way. If you loved it, help us spread happiness by subscribing and leaving a review. And join us next time for One Happy Thing.
Yeah, yeah.